Welcome back, everyone, to episode 3 of the United States series. So let's take a look at some of our stats. And we almost have inflation down by almost 2%. Gonna look at our growth. So currently it's at 2.49, but looks like it's starting to take a slight dip. Let's take a look at our crime. Crime actually went up, so that's an issue. Even though we hired like about 50,000 police officers. So what we're going to do is going to do a little more funding for the drug task force and the vice squad. But we are also going to build some more prisons because they are getting to the point of being overpopulated. And we are going to deal with immigration a little bit stronger. Even though our immigration rate has gone down, but it's not good enough. Still plenty of room for improvement. And we're also going to build some more detention centers. And we're probably going to do a few more investments in research to help the country grow overall. So the first thing we're going to do is going to adjust the tariff rate with some countries. Starting off with Mexico, we want to improve relations with them. So for industry, we are going to basically give a 35% discount on industrial goods. Farming, we are going to reduce that down to about 25. And energy, they do produce oil. Gonna make that about 20%. So overall, that should help us bring in a little more money. Gonna do the same for Colombia. We'll just do about 26%. Farming, we're gonna do... We'll do 30. And we'll just leave it at that for now. And Brazil, we'll do about 35. Because we're going to try to have better relations with the other BRICS nations, with the exception of probably China. Russia, we may try to better relations with them too. And we're going to try to end the hostility with the US and Venezuela. So we are going to make this 25 farming, we're going to make that 25. And the same for energy. And that's 25. Let's check our debt real quick. We're gonna have to make some adjustments to our tax policy. Alright, so that's not good for employment. So let's go to industry. We need to produce more aluminum. Let's go to that. So we need bauxite, water networks, and electricity. So water networks, we're just slightly above our consumption rate. So we're going to increase our subsidy by 3 billion. And we're going to try to meet with Jamaica. So let's do about 20%. And the same for farming. We'll do about 20%. That should help better relations with Jamaica. We're not going to kill their chief of staff, so I'm going to pass. And we're not giving them weapons.
Our services report a new conspiracy theory that is beginning to take hold on social media. You can view the description of this theory and its development on our summary page.
Alright, so let's take care of that real quick. So we're going to try to refute this theory. And luckily for us, there's only one. So actually, let's deal with some of the terrorists too. Alright, so yeah, all of these guys need to be put under surveillance. Alright, so that entire group is under surveillance. Let's go after the Chinese mafia, try to infiltrate them. And we may deal with, we may do a special military operation on Afghanistan. And all that would consist of is... Alright, let's take a look at their military. So they have 36,700 troops, we would just do attacks on their military bases. But we need to find out how many are stationed at each location. And the premise behind it is what took place a couple years ago, where some equipment was forced to be left in that country, and they wound up taking it over. So, looking at that, I am looking at Somalia and also Libya. But with Libya, I'm not going to do anything with them, or not going to make a move until after the election. So, we're definitely not getting involved in this conflict. So I'm gonna call back all my nuclear subs. Have them return to base. I'll still keep the 2 in this area and the 2 in this region. And it looks like Egypt is dealing with some terrorist camps also. It's mainly in this area. It's not the bulk of the country, so that could probably be pretty easy to take care of if I wanted to. Alright, so let's go to... Alright, so our relationship got a little bit better with Venezuela. Alright, so let's deal with the immigration. So, for starters, we're going to build... Let's see. We're going to build 1,200 more detention centers. And then we're going to have some stricter policies with people coming into the country. Alright, so let's read this real quick. Alright, so family unification. Alright, so we'll just call this the American Immigration Act 2023. So far that's looking at about 66% approval. Alright, so we're going to modify immigration quotas. And just leave it at 5. Alright, and we'll do that. Still roughly around 67% approval. Still going to do that. Be a lot more strict. And alright, integration policy. Alright, so let's deal with the visas. So that's going to be more tightly controlled. Actually, let's look at the stats of who's coming in legally. Alright, so it's Mexico, it's the main one. Then India and the Philippines. So I believe Mexico, we already... Yeah, that's more tightly controlled. Alright, there's a couple other countries that I'm gonna put on here. So, Somalia. Syria, we're definitely gonna put on there. Alright, so we saw what was going on in Egypt, so we're gonna put them on there as well. And India. And more tightly controlled. It's oh, definitely Yemen. We have to put that on there. And let's go with Saudi Arabia. We're going to put on here too. Alright, so we addressed the immigration. We'll see how that pans out later on. So unemployment is roughly about 3%.
Sharing this moment of intense spirituality with the faithful gives me great joy. On this holy day, I thank all of our communities across the country, both those in cities as well as those in small, remote villages, who are all coming together in prayer.
All right. Now, let's address education. So we're gonna fund literacy aids and student accommodation. About correspondence courses. So that's only about 1.6 billion, so we can definitely do that. Agriculture, yeah, that's only 967 million. So we'll do that. And let's go to research. So let's do military and no, that's too expensive. What about military? That's definitely too expensive. Aeronautics, 4.2 billion. We'll go ahead and do that. So now let's go to taxation and so we're going to increase the tax investigation. Do this as a reform. We'll just do the American tax plan of 2023. Let's see what else we can do. Alright, so inheritance tax, we're going to reduce that by 5%. Or actually, no, I don't want to do that. Airline tickets, we'll reduce that. Company tax, we are going to reduce that by 4%. And we'll go ahead and increase these. It'll help us get more support for this bill. Alright, so we have 84% approval. Let's put that on pause real quick. Let's do a tax on financial transactions. So that should kind of make up for reducing company tax. So we'll go ahead and add that. Close to 84% approval. We'll put more taxes on, well, we'll put taxes on gambling. Alright, still, alright, so it's 84%. Let's do a tax on unhealthy food. Let's bump that up to a 1%. Alright, so I started to do the company turnover. I'll wait. I'll use that for later on if I need it. And wealth tax. Yeah, I'll hold off with that too. Now one of the things I wish Everson would do is when you do a tax reform like this and you have multiple things on here, or just in general, show like how much money you're going to be bringing in and how much you're going to be spending, and see how it balances out on the bottom. So overall, in the end, you show what you'll be bringing in from this bill. So that's just a thought. All right, let's go ahead and resume.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
All right, so we got stricter with smoking, and that should help health overall. All right, China developed the Hyperloop.
Demonstrators are marching in several cities all over the country as we speak. They intend... Demonstrations are taking place...
Alright, so our growth has gone up from, or our estimate has gone up from 1.63% to 2.28%. Alright, yeah, we'll meet with Benin. Alright, and let's go back to... Alright, so we have 100 agents. I think I'm going to put all of them in Afghanistan. So we're basically going to dismantle the terrorists and also do some political spying on them. Actually, let's do some cyber attack preparation also. So I'm definitely going to do an attack on them. So I do not need these satellites here. I'm going to put them over Afghanistan. And I'm gonna put those over Somalia. Alright, we're more favorable in Bulgaria. Alright, so let's look at our debt. Alright, so we brought our deficit down from 5.5 to 2.8 in only 4.5 months, so that's actually not too bad. However, public debt is up. Um, can't negotiate the interest rate there because it is zero. That's not even worth doing. Alright, let's try to meet with Russia and negotiate that. And yeah, Switzerland. Alright, so let's check this real quick again. Alright, we're still working on dealing with that. Franklin Haynes. Alright, I'll wait and see what happens with this, and then maybe we'll spread some rumors about him.
Good morning! I didn't come empty-handed. In fact, I wanted you to see in order to submit to you this economic contract which, as you will see, is profitable for both our countries.
Alright, they want to sell us oranges. They don't even produce enough themselves, so if anything happens, that's going to throw us off any kind of deal we try to do with them, so that's not even worth it. So we're going to refuse.
I'd be happy to.
Let's take a look at the military. So we have 1.3 million soldiers. Equipment for infantry. So infantry armaments. We have, let's see. I forgot to look to see how many we have. So we have 2.7 million. So let's go with let's go with 1 million. So that's going to be about 2.7 billion. And quality's not that great. And let's go ahead with it.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
Alright. For animal welfare, we have a good score with them.
I'd be happy to. Very well. What kind of offer do you wish to make us?
Alright, let's see if we can reduce this by 0.3. So let's go for 0.4.
Very well. We accept your offer. You're not bad. Very kind. Sure. Huh. Very well. What kind of offer do you wish to make us?
Alright, let's see if we can reduce this by 0.5%.
Very well. We accept your offer. Very kind. You're not bad. Sure.
Alright, so that should help a little bit, not much. Alright, so we're an underachiever with global warming and... Okay. Alright, so that's fine. That's fine. Alright, so it turns out it's going to be 3.5 billion. And we'll just go ahead and agree to it. Alright, now let's go to transportation. Let's get permission to, build into Canada. And let's get permission for Mexico also.
The vote was held and the reform was adopted.
Okay, so the American Tax Plan of 2023 has been passed. Alright, that's been done.
Well done. You have just signed your first contract. A note from my department will allow a rapid expert appraisal of this contract. It is attached to the contract.
Okay, we passed 31 bills that have all been approved. So we're at 100%. That's not bad. Just out of curiosity, how much more time do we have for those ports that we built? So we're looking at like 130 more days. Alright, so... Alright, so both Mexico and Canada agreed. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to wait until we can develop a hyperloop. And we'll build it from Buffalo into Toronto.
The vote was held and the reform was adopted.
Alright, so the American Immigration Act, people don't seem to like it too much. Alright, so I'm gonna address something that has bothered me with this game too. So the protesting, I think it's pretty inaccurate for certain groups that protest because of the immigration policy. Everson has one particular group that does not really protest like that for immigration policies. That needs to be corrected. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say with that. Because there's a demographic that does protest, but they protest when they feel as though they've been wronged by certain circumstances within the country, but immigration isn't one of them. So maybe Everson needs to reevaluate the groups that they have set up to that protest. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
You know full well that in our services, the empathy curve usually stays close to zero. However, I have placed my agents under surveillance, and I can assure you that after what you've done for them, you're in the good books of 98.7% of the staff.
All right.
The demonstrators intend to send a powerful signal of their opposition to the government.
All right.
Demonstrations are taking place at this very moment in the country's main cities. All of them have come together in opposition of the government, chanting their usual slogans and accompanied by a few emblematic celebrities. There has been no particular incident up till now, but we remain vigilant.
Yeah, this is this isn't really accurate, realistically.
We are awaiting your instructions to direct our...
Alright, so there's... Yeah, this is not accurate for immigration. If it was anything else, then I would say, yeah, that's pretty accurate, but this isn't. Let's see. Oh... That's a lot of people. How many people? Let's just send the military in. I'm not gonna even play around with that. And we'll bring some police reinforcements in. Yep. Knew that was going to lower my approval.
Our governmental cell informs me that it has had the opportunity to approach this potential informer. According to my calculations, using transactional analysis, Chicago score naturally, the team has at most...
Okay, yeah, we'll approach that informer.
The rioters have taken control of...
Alright, let's just get out of that.
The rebels have set up a barricade. It shows how determined they are. Fighting has begun. Some of our side have been wounded, but the rebels have stopped fighting. Our actions on the ground have definitely made an impression.
Give us weapons. I do not think so. In fact, because that's a,
We have subdued the rebel movement.
With the new regulation, which requires more resources, there are significant fewer applicants, but there is an increase in attempted fraud, with wealthy immigrants trying to repatriate minors who are of no relation to them. So, we have implemented mandatory DNA tests for these family unifications, and the results are very telling.
That's interesting. Alright. Okay. Alright, as I was saying, since this is a war zone, and I mean, my goodness, look at all these. Yeah, we are not keeping our ambassador there. So, embassy abroad. Let's go to Ukraine, and we are going to close. Till the hostilities stop.
I'd like to congratulate you in person for your popularity. The way the country trusts you moves me.
Alright. Alright, so our growth has actually gone up. Let's look at our debt. So that's going down some. A little more. Yeah, I believe our deficit earlier was like 2.84 or 85, so it's going down a little more. And let's look at our crime rate. So that's still not really budging at all. So let's do 2 stars for Vice Squad. And public safety. We're going to invest 3.7 billion. And let's meet with Jamaica so we can buy some bauxite. And aluminum. Let's start off with 1.5 billion. Okay, biotechnology. All right. So we're going to start dealing with getting goods from China. All right, so fuel cell batteries. We produce enough for ourselves. So we're gonna put 30% tariff on that. Iron. Yeah, we don't produce enough iron at all. We're gonna have to address that probably in the next episode. Alright. Pharmaceuticals, we're doing well with that. Actually, let's check inflation rate. Alright, so inflation is just a little bit above our interest rate by 0.01%.
Our governmental cell informs me that it has had the opportunity to approach this potential
Okay, yeah, we'll approach the informer. Alright, so we now have the Hyperloop. We'll keep that for ourselves. I'm not going to share that with anyone. Alright, let's go to dead. Alright, so I think I'm going to end this episode. So you guys can let me know what you think of this episode, or click the like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you soon.